Oh my God, you guys, it's the podcast.
Well, hello, everyone.
It's the last one on the road, but check it out. I came up to check out the room that we get the day before we go, or the 2 days before we go. I came out to check out the room, and there was a picture of Paul on the wall.
Okay. Hey, yeah. So, guys, so Susan rushed through something,
Yeah, I
but
did.
so when we're on the road and there's a day off, we get to look at my mouse not moving, but that's okay.
Are we frozen?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh,
No. There we
there
go.
we go. Okay, yeah.
Well, don't worry
You
about
saw
it.
that free. Anyway, so out here we live on the bus. We don't get hotel rooms unless there's a day off, and then we get
Or a
one
casino.
room to share, or a casino. We
Right.
get one room to share. So sorry about we don't have our green screens. We're not out in the universe,
Yeah.
but we're in the hotel room.
Look.
That is our hotel room, right, for the day. And Susan, you know, the student sitting on the bed.
And
So
yeah, here
you can see. So this is where we're going to do our podcast
what
from.
we got.
Now, right down behind, we can see the window, and we're staring out of the window. We can see our bus down
Yep.
there on the street here in
Yep.
St. Paul,
Yeah.
Minnesota.
And there's even action behind the bus. And
There
I
is.
mean, you know,
Yeah.
auction.
It
I mean,
could be a
action.
nefarious location. We don't know
There's
yet.
several legs and
We'll
lots of kids.
We
Well,
will stay alert about that.
keep you updated on the action down on the street.
Okay, so if we were going to alert them, of course, we couldn't use the Amber Alert. So what would we call our alert? Would it be the Cowsill
The
Alert?
council alert.
If we say Coastal Alert and grab this computer and turn it on the scene where they're stealing our trailer from
Yeah.
behind our bus, we're on the 15th floor. We're not going to get down there.
No.
We cannot run
But
Okay.
we get a face verification.
Sorry.
bus alert.
When they call for any film in the area,
The
we'll
bus-
use ours.
Yeah.
Bus alert
Yeah.
because it's about our bus being
Bus alert.
infiltrated by.
But that's there, and we're here, and it's now. And so, hi to everybody. Got to start by saying, guys. So we've had podcast listeners show up in the audience,
There's signs.
and they either have signs or somebody goes, "Hey, he's a podcast listener," or "She's a podcast listener," and we've been able to say, "Hey, you know, it's not back to the. It's not."
Happy Together. We have to stick with the Happy Together policy.
But we're able to meet with you, and
we are. And
signs and
back
stuff.
ourselves, we're going to really be able to meet.
Oh,
with you.
it'll be great. It'll be great.
Hang out and stuff like that.
But since the last episode, when we talked about this is what we're going to do and this and that, you know, all of a sudden when we saw a sign, we're in the middle of our show and Bob goes, "Hey, there's a sign." Yeah. We're going, "Oh, wow, there it is." You know, oh my God, we only got 20 minutes. We better get going.
And I was playing guitar and all of a sudden I'm not.
Yeah.
Now, we wrote the names down of everyone, and now we've forgotten it. We left them in the bus.
But I remember Aaron, and Aaron was there.
Okay.
And where were we when we saw Aaron? And I thought it was Sarah and somebody, but
Three of them, but I'm not going to remember.
yeah, it's hard.
All I
because
remember
travel-
is in Nashville, poor Joe had his sign taken from him from security.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. And so I saw Joe. He said, "Hey, podcast." That's the magic word, guys. You say podcast, our head's going to turn and we're going to look at you. So I saw Joe. No one was sitting next to us. So I went down, said hi. He said, "Here's my sign." He pulls his phone out, shows me his podcast.
He had a
sign.
great podcast,
But
sign, by the way.
At the time,
Good job.
I didn't know security had taken it from him. So I just chatted.
That's the thing that happens at concerts now. Miranda went to Jonas Brothers, made a most beautiful, beautiful sign, and they took it from her, and it broke her heart. So, Joe, sorry about that.
All right, and any of you venue promoters who watch our podcast, we think you do, leave our signs alone.
Man.
Yeah.
They're harmless.
Yeah.
But the podcast folks coming up are
very cool.
It's very fun.
Very fun.
Hey, if everybody had a sign, though, imagine nobody could see a show.
Well, they wouldn't be able to hold it up.
Well, no, but if everybody held up a sign, the whole place, the whole concert, people.
Yeah.
None of our people have arms strong enough to hold up signs all through the.
Even do their phone. People can't even do their phones when Paul wants them to.
It's rough. Now,
It's rough. What are we doing? Oh, should we do gigs or?
Yeah, we got it. We got to focus.
We'll do gigs first.
Yeah, we got to do our gigs now.
Right.
Because again, reflecting back at places that hire us, they do check out our social media.
Yeah, they want to hope we're publicizing it.
Here we're mentioning them and stuff, and sometimes we get a little lazy. But and in a way that's exciting because we get lazy because we have so many and we're all excited for us anyway.
Yeah,
because it used to be real easy to.
Bob's getting out the
gigs. We could remember it. Now we need to read it because it's too many to remember.
We cannot remember it. We have to read it.
Show up. That would be no good.
That's yeah. I always get afraid of that when we're like I always think that I haven't booked a flight, and so
Oh, I
there's
do
an
that.
outlier of a ticket that I didn't
I
do.
think
But
Briston wakes up like in fear that he didn't, or from a dream of like he
yeah,
didn't book.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like looking for your
All right.
locker.
So
I
yeah,
got it up. Let's go through this.
okay.
Anyone can enter with an edit, a comment about what we're going to go through here. Any of us can suggest if we know who we're playing with or something like that. But let's start.
Excuse me, I'm yawning. I'm sorry.
Sit
Okay,
down.
Uh, we do have tomorrow night at the Minnesota State Fair with the Happy Together Tour, and we also have the Northwest Washington State Fair on September 2nd.
Yeah,
Okay?
September 2nd, where we're going to see our friend Terrence Simeon.
Oh, right. We're going to go to a show. No, that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to go.
That's tomorrow. Well, then it's already happened, and we had a great time. Anyway, Terrence asked us up on the stage and sing some "Let It Go" with him.
Tomorrow hasn't happened yet.
That's right.
We're getting loopy at the end of this tour.
Yeah, nice.
In camp, and it starts in a couple of days.
Say I can't remember.
No, he said Minnesota.
He said Minnesota for sure, and then I looked it up. He's there.
Dude, so double bill.
So we haven't gotten far here, have we? But we're going to get through this. September 13th and 14th. Now, this is fun. I'll tell you why. It's our trio, and it's with Joe, our promoter.
We love Joe Marino.
We all use the same band, a la Happy Together.
Yep.
We're playing with other groups this weekend.
Plays with others.
The Buckinghams.
The
Love and Spoonful.
Really big show. Yep, the Love and Spoonful.
And what's Mr. Ruggiero's name? His first name, Chris. Chris Ruggiero. He'll be your MC, and he does a great little set. And
that's for the September 13th and September 14th. September 13th at the Palace Theater in Lorain, Ohio.
Right.
And September 14th at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center in Dearborn, Michigan. And so we'll be tooling around the Midwest for a couple of days that weekend with our troops and stuff. That's fun.
Okay.
September.
Sound like a weathercaster.
I feel like it,
Keep going.
Well, it is. It's a barometer. It's a barometer of what we're doing. Okay.
In case the PNC Bank Performing Arts Center in Homedale, New Jersey is listening, we're also coming there for you on September 19th with Cousin Brucey's Fall Classic Concert.
His annual Fall Classic.
The Happenings.
Yes.
Chuck Berry, come on. Okay, who came up with the very first dance a man could do. Chuck Berry with the twist. We all did it in high school.
What? The very first dance a man could do.
That normal men who understand we can't dance understood. Oh my God! Now the problem with that twist thing was every girl in the world knew that you could do the twist. Don't even pull that one on us, okay? And that created other issues. But anyway, it's
come on.
Oh, so there we are.
Ask me how I knew.
The morning of September 20th, after that great night in New Jersey, we jump a plane to Barbersville, West Virginia for the Barbersville Fall Festival. Mike Kirtner is going to be our guest. We'll talk about him later.
And we'll talk about that concert.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Then October 24th, Tomball, Texas, a revisit. Now, that was a Christmas show last time.
It was.
But we're going to come to the theater again.
And right.
And
we want everyone to come out.
It'll be non-Christmassy.
And if you demand a Christmas song, we're not going to deny you.
No,
okay?
Right.
Somebody once told us it could be Christmas.
But we can guarantee one thing, that it's not going to be the same show as we did last time in Tomball, because we have another brand new batch of tunes from the 70s.
Yeah.
So
we learned this specifically for a Tomball rollout.
That's right.
And we're very excited about this premiere. So now after Tomball,
we'll still do the hits though. Okay.
We have to hightail it to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the Mall Shop Cruise.
Right.
Now, the Mall Shop Cruise is a late 50s, early 60s kind of musical focused event that they're realizing there's probably not enough of that going around anymore, and they're going to bring out some 60s people.
Yeah. We have, I think they want to try to put more people on that.
This is like grandmother's music that we're talking about.
Your grandmother? No.
Listening to it.
Oh, Susan, God bless you. Well, let's take 1960.
People music, mate.
Let's take 1958, for instance.
I'm not even lying.
Right. Okay.
While you guys work that out, I do want to tell the people. So we are doing that Tomball show. And then the next show will be going to Fort Lauderdale. But after the Tomball show, I have to fly back to Oregon to pick Louis up, and you're going to go back to New Orleans, and then we're going to pick up that gang of people, and then we're going to fly to Florida the next day. So
do I
consider to you what?
Nothing. It's cool.
Yeah, you're going home to New Orleans. Yes.
Okay.
I'm considering going straight to Fort Lauderdale to breathe for 2 days.
And that's a good way to go.
Maybe I'll do that. I probably won't because I never do, but it always sounds so good. And I did it once.
I did it. And it felt great.
Reported favorably.
Chicken anymore. I highly recommend a little hussy.
But the only thing I'll say about that,
I'm not,
even though it's just one day, even though it's 1 day extra, hey, 1 day extra, it feels like you're there a week because you're just in the room. You get there and then you're going to be there another day.
It feels amazing.
And it just is.
There's nothing like
it. I just got a text from a listener. They say we're talking too much. What's going on with you? No, I'm kidding. No, it's a 10:45 a.m. departure on the bus to the fair.
Ooh, bus updates. Hey,
that's our bus updates.
Let's see what's going on.
That's what time we're going tomorrow. So we get this update the night before of like what time we're supposed to be on the bus the next morning.
Right.
So it can pull out.
We're still there.
And since we're with the trailer and the crew, we go in the morning because they're going to set up at about 11 or 12 o'clock each day. And we live on that bus, so we got to go with them.
And the lunch is also out, and we try to get a little snack on whatever they might have.
Then the sound check fills in the middle afternoon sound check.
3 o'clock.
Then dinner.
5.
When everyone comes from their hotels, kind of in a zombie-like state looking for food. This is what happens. So
where is the cafeteria?
I noticed Troy and Elliot got there late last night. They got there while we were going on. They arrived off of the road.
Troy drives.
And Troy drives. And there's a lot of little examples of how people start losing a little bit of pep in late August.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you gotta have
we understand. Pep. I mean, Paul and me, we had to get in shape for this summer after last summer.
To have June pep in August, you just can't think it's going to happen for you.
Have June pep in August, 20 minutes a night.
And there is definitely a Happy Together tour next summer. We'll keep you posted on that. There is
a Happy Together tour next summer.
And that is kind of pretty exciting news.
And we'll let you know who's on it when we're allowed.
Yeah. October, they say.
Yeah, we're in the know. All right, so we're done with the Barbersville. We have left West Virginia.
Yep.
We've done the Mall Shop Cruise. Here we are, November 8th. Our historic, what's going to turn into possibly 2 times a year, like the Cutting Room, November 8th, the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas. We know it wasn't up for a while, folks. People were telling us, I look up the Golden Nugget, you're not listed. You're not there. And I'm going, okay, what's up? So we do the diligent thing. We contact our agent. We're not being promoted by the Golden Nugget. And here's what comes back. Well, they want to know when you want to start. We're going, what?
Start what?
Start promoting. We've never been asked that, by the way.
No.
I don't know.
But let me just, I can put some light on it.
Okay.
Because for the last 2 years, we have called the Nugget and asked them to hook us up with the radio stations there in town. Yeah, and we've actually gone on and we've done these, advertising for the show coming up. Yep. And so they're asking us because, hey, these guys are on this. So we'll see what they want when they want to do it.
I have to confess that when I got to say now, and I didn't say comma, damn it, I felt very powerful.
Yes. It's like we're in control of something.
Not my friends. I think that is
why would it be now? It's the craziest thing.
All the magic.
Lots to go through. November 16th, exciting night for the Cowsills family because we're reconnected with the Puckett family. Okay. November 16th in Warren, Ohio. We are opening for Gary.
Yeah.
December 6th at the Cutting Room. We will be doing the Cutting Room twice a year. So look for us in the autumn or late spring, probably autumn.
Love going to the Cutting Room.
December 6th. December 8th at Arcata Theater in St. Charles. We will share something with you. It's not listed.
I don't know, Icon.
And we called them and we got a bunch of
Smash Face.
I don't know from everyone. And the guy who was gonna know was on an airplane. That's Ron. And Ron just got off the airplane when our guy Bob called Ron and said, Ron, da 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 da. And Ron said, I don't know.
I don't know.
And so he's getting to the office and we got to close.
Yeah,
All right,
right
so-
now, we don't know.
And he's been getting to the office for, I think, about 2 weeks.
So we might
And
not.
we just looked at the
Look,
contract,
what can we
and
say?
we think the answer lies in the contract as
'Cause
to
it says-
why it's not being promoted.
Well,
Well, we can share it.
yeah, so there's about 3 different venues. The Arcada Theater, yes, but then within that, they have a speakeasy,
Mhm.
supper club, where we would think that the 3 of us might play in there
A
better.
trio show.
A trio show than out on the main stage of the Arcada Theater where we've been before. And we've been there with our band and we played with Gunnar and Matthew Nelson.
Was it
We
Christmas?
It was a Christmas show. Yes.
Or
yes.
a lovely festive Christmas?
No, for
wedding?
sure. So anyway, what we're trying to say is November 8th right now is still a little up in the air, being that nobody's called us and said, guys, for sure.
We'll
It's
keep
like
you
the
posted.
cruise, the 70s cruise.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted.
December 8th at this point wraps up 2024.
Thank God.
I know, I'm exhausted.
No kidding.
And we always wanted to work a lot, so here it is.
Yeah.
We are.
2025. We kick it off at this point. Probably something's going to come
Can I
first
take a nap?
on March 8th.
March,
And this
January,
is
February.
this weekend's growing. This is with Pam and the True North Project. We're going to be at the HDG State Theater, Havre
Yeah.
Havre. She'll correct me again if I blew it again.
Havre.
Maryland.
It's Maryland, Havre.
Yes.
Havre.
We'll be at the Van Diver Inn, I think, something like that. Anyway, hey, check out the True North Project. We'll tell you a little more about them as this comes, but they're an interesting group, and they are about people, art, workshops, all kinds of interesting stuff. Okay, we're building a nice weekend with a show this Saturday night, and we're discussing a documentary viewing on Sunday with a Q&A with the group and stuff. Yes, we are.
It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be cool. Ours, you had one. Yeah.
PTSD time.
Susan, you can do it again.
Some of the footage and discuss it.
If you say Cowsills document, if you Cowsills documentary, you'll see Susan's face blank. Go blank if you just mention.
Yeah.
You want to let everybody know that this is all 2025, and if you haven't written that down, don't worry. We're going to be mentioning it many more times as it takes shape.
Yeah.
And as you guys
and all the times we forget to mention it, then and we'll be mentioning it.
Yes, and pencil it in.
Yeah. Make sure you can erase it just in case.
Pencil it in.
That one, that last, that this, that, or that.
No, we're going. It's a solid thing.
Pencil that in. Pencil it in.
Now this is a little bit of insanity, but we did it.
Oh.
And so now, as you know, we hope we have the Rock and Romance cruise. We haven't heard yet, but we're sure we hope we pass the audition, Alan. Thank you. And then the Flop Bar cruise.
Yes.
Now the Rock and Romance cruise.
We talked about the malt shop cruise. Yes, we did. Very good.
On March 15th, we set sail. So the night of March 14th, we all show up for the cruise in our hotels, and we're going to embark the next morning.
Yeah.
Well, the afternoon of that March 14th, the night we were going to that hotel, we took a gig at the White Cliff Golf and Country Club in Wellington, Florida, not very far from our hotel. And it's 2 90-minute concerts because they flipped the crowd. So we're going to play for 3 hours, crawl into the hotel, crawl onto the ship, start hitting the coffee bar and wherever you need to hit. And wake up.
You guys.
And
we did.
And we hope, we don't hope. Look, at whatever comes our way, we're always ready to attack it. However, it would be nice if we played on day 2 of the cruise.
Maybe Alan's watching this.
Yeah.
But we're good to go. We're good to be the 6A group.
You know us.
I believe that.
Plus, as Bob said, a little cafe, and they have it all over the ship.
Finally. And I say that for the people that are bored with us by now. It's like saying let one more song in the show. Then we're God. Okay. Finally, May 2nd at the Merriman Performing Arts Center in Kearney, Nebraska. And May 3rd, we move over to Hutchinson, Kansas at the Hutchinson Historic Fox Theater. Full band shows. Make sure you see us. We think it's with the association, but we haven't heard really yet.
I'm exhausted just hearing about what.
That's what we do so far. And plus our podcast every week. Don't forget we're here every week.
Because here we are. And look, I'm here to tell you, out here on the road, it's easy to pull a snow day. I mean, it's just easy because we're just going and going and going. When it comes time to podcast, it's like, maybe we should do it tomorrow or the next day.
Yep.
And here we are, last day before
breaking camp.
Yeah.
Because we're
Get on
all
the
started
podcast.
that, you know.
But we're good.
Now,
Do-
we have something that has been missing from our episode for a very long time, and we'd like to share and introduce once again. He almost had his own T-shirt in the beginning. Paul Pufferfish.
My cow up from the
Paul Pufferfish. Oh, we got the cow. Here's the cow. I don't remember.
Oh no, we get a call. Hey, you guys have cows in your room?
Yeah.
Well, we do kind of have to.
But listen to what he has found.
Puffer fishes.
And you won't believe this.
Look at the pufferfish segment has been a great segment. People love it. We thank all the podcasters that love it. But you know, it's hard to find over and over and over again cool things.
It is.
But scouring the internet as we were,
And it's far and wide.
It's far and wide. We came up with these 4 fun facts. The first fun fact is this.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. You prepared?
There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way.
I still don't believe that.
It's true.
Well, while estimates vary, it's generally accepted that there are around 3 trillion trees on Earth. People stop cutting them down on Earth, whereas there are an estimated to be around 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy.
It's a slam dunk.
So just try to look in your brain.
Even now in this day and age of cutting everything?
Yeah.
Is the guy who counted the trees still alive?
Well, here's the thing that I will tell you about this. The uniqueness of all those. I don't think they've counted all the stars in the Milky Way. I think yet to be determined, but all the stars that you see are so far from each other. It's pretty incredible that they're able to get that many stars in the galaxy.
Point too, because the guy counting the trees.
Man, this is by something. Absolutely, they're a whole
Taking a long time over the Earth, but he
is. And so the way they figure out how many trees is they'll take an acre plot and find how many trees there, and then times the land.
All right.
Okay.
This next one.
Okay. There's a couple of great ones. Well, they're all great, of course. Okay. Oh, this is funny, you know, and we're all going to go, you're going to count me. Humans blink about 15 to 20 times per minute. Now,
I've seen people on TV.
If you live to be 80 years old, you will have spent about 5 years of your life with your eyes closed due to blinking.
Just from blinking.
Wow.
Just blinking.
Did you start blinking rapidly once he started talking?
No, I held mine open.
Mine started I felt like I was out of control.
I have 5 years left to 80, and I'm going to stop blinking. That's my
man. You are right. Get toothpicks like they do in the cartoon. No, they create the whole world going by.
Incredible. Again, how did they mathematize that? Who's staying awake? Who's watching people sleep and blink and
well, they've got studies. Yeah. Some kid did a senior thesis at Harvard on how many times people blink in a minute. Hey, but anyway, now this is a good one. And now I'm going to maybe have to read this twice because what we end up with, you've got to, okay, here we go.
All right.
It takes about 1,800 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef.
Wait, what?
Okay. It takes about 1,800 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef, which equals 10 full bathtubs to create 1 quarter pounder.
Wow.
This includes water used for drinking the stock, feeding the stock, and processing the stock. So all levels of processing, you know.
I can see how that could be.
So, yeah, but that's pretty loud, isn't it?
Give me a quarter pounder. I feel like I'm going to be washed out of McDonald's.
All
that water. They are water.
If you get a quarter pounder, you can feel absolutely guilty about the water wasted on you and your hunger for a quarter pounder. We're all terrible.
The dehydrated emergency. Get a Whopper.
Yes.
Well,
look at how about the hungry guy that gets 4 quarter pounders?
And
he's used. We can't. Those numbers.
The planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Family people, please help us.
Something are we ever going to say?
Mike Kirtner, we're going to get to him in
a few minutes because this one is a really.
This is the last one.
This is a satisfying one. You can be happy about this. You can love Mother Nature yet again and be proud to be a part of it.
Mother Nature.
Love her.
To produce 1 pound of honey, a colony of honeybees must fly approximately 55,000 miles and visit around 2 million flowers to produce 1 pound of honey.
Say it all again.
Let's put it in a different way. To produce 1 jar of honey, a colony of honeybees, so the big white containers you see, a colony of bees, must fly approximately 55,000 miles. I mean, so a mile is 5,000 feet. And I mean, this is an incredible amount of feet.
This is,
and they have to visit 2 million flowers.
That's astounding.
Hopefully we continue and Mother Earth continues to create flowers. Otherwise, we're going to be in big trouble. But I will tell you, in Oregon, out on our farm, we have so many bees. You know, people talk about the bees going extinct. Not in Oregon. So move to Oregon if you want to watch bees because they're there.
Yeah. The word buzz. Gotta move.
Yeah.
Honey.
Okay. And so that is it.
Fantastic.
So those are crazy ones. Most of them are,
all
the things.
Fantastic. Those are good balls. Bring it back. Keep them back.
We got to just keep scouring the pages, scouring the pages. Okay. So there's just a couple of minutes from Mike Kirtner. Kirtner. Yes.
Kirtner.
Yep. Mike Kirtner. And you remember the movie Marshall and the terrible thing that happened with their
Marshall University.
The airplane crash. Well, Mike went to that school.
He was in the middle of a lot of Marshall. They became the radio station for the university. Mike was listening to our podcast and got in touch with us. And he said to us, you've created a library of valuable history from the artists themselves. And it kept blowing him away a little. And we'll let him explain.
Let's let Mike, what made him push a button, you know? Oh no, pull the trigger. You know how you're doing, you're trying to figure out something. You go, man, do I pull the trigger? Do I not? Do I not? Mike pulls the trigger. He's a trigger pulling kind of guy.
And so he said, let's do a radio show based on our podcast.
That's true. And we're going to let Mike talk all about it and how he got.
Oh, is that supposed to be a surprise?
No.
Okay, good.
I thought you were going to elaborate.
Sure. It's 6:29. It's 6:29.
6:29. A teaser. Yeah. I do.
We did a teaser.
Next up, Mike Kirtner, all about his new radio show.
Right.
Like that.
Okay.
That's
and then this one. Next up, Mike Kirtner, he's bringing the Cowsills to West Virginia.
Right.
Oh, yeah. This
next
is
up.
So Michael let us
read his hair.
And he'll let us know all about these great stories in 30 seconds. We expect him on board in any minute.
Let's check in on our bus and the police activity that was going on down there.
We have been peeking while they do that recon. We have been peeking out down.
It's still happening. Those kids.
The car moved by people down there.
The car has moved.
Mm-hmm. The car's moved, but the kids are still there.
See the car that's now look beyond that.
I see one down there.
That was the car around the place, and there's people smalling. Is they have the road blocked up. The cars, not a lot of cars can go through. So there's a lot of street traffic and walking traffic.
Bus, right?
Manny is
both buses are parked right outside our hotel.
Yes. Yeah. And now the problem with being parked right outside the hotel is we're downtown and we have no TV. That's kind of why we're up here. No, I know. But because I know everybody out there knows we love 90 Day Fiance and it's on tonight. And it is Tell All Part 5. I've never seen a 90 Day Fiance that has a Tell All Part more than 3.
There's a lot to say.
I've never seen a 4 or a 5.
Mike.
Guys, it's good to see you again. It's good to put a face with a radio show.
This is Mike Kirtner, everybody. And we talked a little bit about who you were, Mike, before you got on, but we kind of got jabbing about a lot of other stuff, and we kind of forgot about you. And then we said, oh, my God, Mike's coming on. No, I'm kidding you. We were trying to explain when you first reached out, and what kind of motivated that? If you could share that with us.
Oh, show my
Bob, like everybody else that's listening now, I listened to your podcast, and I thought you guys have no idea what you've got. Uh, a lot of people want to blame the media for everything, but the media reflects everything, and they get aggravated with it. But what you've done is put together a library of the history of the '60s, and the cool part of it is you lived it, you're fans of it, and you knew these people because you were young at the time that these guys were in their heyday, and you just happened to be, as Paul told me one time, you just happened to be a group of kids with a band out of Newport, Rhode Island, and whammo, here you go. But man, I don't know whose idea was it for you all to do a podcast because it's genius.
We an executive producer of all of our work and a believer in of us, and his name is Rock Positano. And it was his sentence during the COVID lockdown that he said, you should do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are today with you, Mike, and it's been a long road. Go ahead.
So, Mike, it's been, a long road with this. Just from the first time Bob says, hey, man, this guy, Mike Kirtner, he's talking about having a radio station. Me and Susan are looking at him going, what? Just a bunch of other stuff being said. And then, time goes by. Then Mike, Mike's back on. Look at, he's putting this thing together. He's just putting it together. So what did it take? So you had that sentiment. Oh, wow, these guys have a library. So from that point to actually you're there, what were the steps for you in your brain and pulling the trigger?
Paul, ye of no faith.
No.
No, I know. No, I don't blame you because I'm sure you're approached constantly with people that don't follow through. We had to come up with a way or that it wasn't going to be aggravating for you because you're going to be on the road. And, originally we were going to do little 5-minute clips and put them on various radio stations. That didn't make any sense. And because I put it out there to try to find out a station to carry it. And then we're using you to primarily host it. Well, that didn't make a lot of sense because you're always gone. And then finally, we came with the idea, let's use the clips in the podcast. I would host it. The funny part about all of this is I'm a fan too. And this is my way of giving something back. Susan, I'm waiting for you to ask me what I was going to do before I got into music. So I was waiting for your question.
You'll get there.
I know. I by the way, I was on the Ed Sullivan stage, but not on their show. I had a friend of mine that worked for David Letterman. And I just wanted to stand where the Beatles stood. He said, right here, but I did that. But back on what we were talking about. Yeah, like I said, I feel like I owe you something back, all of you. And but the thing of it is that if you want to study a society, look at what they were doing for entertainment at the time, whether it was the Romans or us now or the Spaniards. You can always take that era and say, oh, that's who those people were. That's what they were doing for entertainment. Bob, Paul, Susan, our generation of the '60s, that music reflected who we were and consequently who we are. And you guys have captured it. And I'm telling you, I really sincerely believe that in years to come, there's going to be scholars that'll come back and pull your podcast and go, oh, Tommy James, Crystal Blue Persuasion. Yeah, I got that. And then they'll know that Susan. Yeah, they'll know Susan was on her little bouncy ball in the apartment building. They're going to know all this stuff.
My turn. My turn.
Okay. Yes,
so I just wanted to interject here. So Mike is following the podcast on a weekly basis and comes up with these ideas and brings them to. And I'm talking. Are we saying this has been going on for 2 years? Do you think?
Almost 3.
I think almost
from the original time.
3. To where, and just so you know, we are talking about an existing radio show now that we're giving you the history of that is on every Sunday at noon and 10 p.m. on 97.9 The River out of West Virginia. This is created. Mike is DJing with us. He's hosting. Mike Kirtner, great voice of radio.
Anywhere on your internet.
This is what we're talking about, folks. The history of how this came, and it started this summer while we were out here on the Happy Together tour. The radio show.
And Mike, you said what you were going to do and you did it. And that's for everybody to find this radio station and tune in. Because I will say this, Mike, you have a great DJ voice.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Because when we're listening to all the episodes and your voice is there, I mean, it has that a calming effect as, you know,
As
just
a DJ.
who was the guy that used to do the top 40? What was that guy?
Casey
Casey
Kasem.
Casey Kasem was like, you heard that guy's voice and it was like, oh yeah, Casey, always just talking informatively the way you do. It's really great.
Now,
Well,
Mike's history with Marshall University, the Marshall football team, the radio station that supported that, the Marshall University radio thing, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
that's a connection with you also. And so you came from radio. And Susan can find out.
I can't wait, Susan.
I know. And
It's
we're going to do this, Mike. I would like to, first of all, welcome you to the Cowsills podcast, as I do whenever I get going on my portion of the interviews. Mike, where did you grow up, first of all?
Southern West Virginia, Susan.
Very
You know, and I let my career not dissimilar to yours. I lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania, just right when Billy Joel wrote the song Allentown. I timed that perfectly. Then I went to Louisville when they won a national championship in basketball, so that was fun. And then I moved back to Huntington. I'm from Huntington originally, but I came back to Huntington. And to be honest with you, I wanted to keep my family close together. Moving back was tough. We all are aware of market sizes and all that, but I was young enough to come back, and then I was fortunate enough to be able to purchase the company. So, and you guys were an inspiration of putting the river on the air, which you are now a key ingredient of. Because I want to say this: the people in our business in radio, everybody wants 25 to 54, but we all know the money's 55 plus. All you have to
Yeah.
do is look at your tour. You did 250,000 people. The flower, everywhere you all go, your audience is pretty doggone wealthy. Let's just cut
Yeah.
through it.
But just to digress a bit, so you went from West Virginia to this, and what were you doing?
I worked my way through college. I was a DJ in the 70s. I did not play your music. I wish I had. Barry Manilow was hot. You know, when we were talking, and some of those artists. I'm trying to think who. Obviously, Rod Stewart was huge at that time. That are still performing. But I was a DJ through college. Then I looked at this in the radio station. All the guys that really dressed well, they were in sales. So I got into the sales side, and then I wanted to get into general management. So I became a general manager in Huntington as well as in Pennsylvania and then Louisville. And then I came back here as a part owner and then ultimately bought it.
all right, Mike.
Crazy.
I would
Yes,
like to take you back a little further, please. Everybody knows you're in radio, but nobody knows how you got there, sir. So little Mike is at home with his parents in West Virginia. Little Mike's dad does what he does, and Mike's mom does what she does. What were you inspired by your parents or the world to do? And how did that bring you to spinning records, young man?
Well, first of all, Susan, I could not do an F chord on a guitar, so that was totally out of the
Okay.
equation.
Okay.
And believe it or not, when I would go, all of us have an imagination. I would put myself to sleep every night and listen to records, and I would pretend I was that band, and that's how I would go to sleep at night. So I always idolized people that are in that music world. So I loved being around it, and I really appreciated the craft. And I'm very protective of people that do it. By the way, you're probably figuring that out. Uh, but that's what got me started. And the other thing was, and here's the funny part: when I don't know. I've always known that I wanted to be in radio. Never wanted to do TV. Could not impossible to be a musician. Actually, I
Okay.
tried out for a band one time, and the only song I could do was "Mony Mony," the Kingsman version of it, and that was terrible. But I tried. But when I was a kid, I would actually tape cassette tapes, and I had a little battery operated turntable, and I was acting like I was a DJ, and my voice hadn't changed. So Michael Jackson, I was a pre Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
So,
All
but
right. No,
but
so
that,
you were just always DJ bound. You were 5 years old. You wanted to be a disc
Crazy.
jockey.
I
Wow.
used to stand in front of the church,
Crazy.
Susan, and act like I was directing the choir.
All right, I
I
got
always
you.
liked that part of it.
I think my leg's being the boss.
Because from conducting the choir to programming rec music,
Yeah.
it's right up in the same.
Oh, and the other thing is, I love the trivia part of our business. I mean, all of you guys are a story, and let me I'm not used to being interviewed, so I'm probably talking too much. I apologize. I
We
tend to
like
be
a
the one.
guest that responds.
What you guys are the most honest people I have ever met in the entertainment world. You're impossible to blackmail. You tell everything, and I'm that way too. It's,
We're
whatever it is,
painfully honest.
you're paying well, but you know what? It's wonderful that you are. Your story is an amazing story. And I've said this to you. If I say this enough, you'll believe. I'm just happy for you guys and your radio show, the podcast. For everyone that's involved with this right now, if you've got an oldie station you like, call them and tell them this is available. The next step of this, Paul, is to syndicate it. And we now have about 13 of these recorded, and they're all recorded without any timestamp on it. They're recorded where they can be played at any given time. And,
Great.
the one of the things I'm looking forward with you guys is to do a Christmas and a Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to hook up when we get
I
back.
love that.
So you're saying, like, I'm in New Orleans and my local classic radio is Tix FM. So would Tix FM want to carry this? Is that how that works?
That's
how
correct.
do we get to those people?
If you know the program director, and I know you all have ties like with WABC and even Sirius, this is a show that it's pre-produced, it's got commercial time in it that can be filled on a non-commercial radio station. But all these things, it just does more to tell your story. Because again, I said to you at the beginning, you did the hard part. The interviews were the hard part, and man, you all did a great job with that. I mean, to hear the stories of the people that you worked with. And some of the artists we lost Melanie, and you have that is now archived. And as time progresses, unfortunately, we'll lose more people as time progresses. But we've got that in the vault, and it doesn't get better than that. It just doesn't.
And folks, you can hear all of this. All you got to do is download 97.9 The River. Just download it, and you can have it on demand, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's also on TuneIn too. If you go on there and if you go on Alexa and say, "Hey Alexa, play 97.9 The River," it'll come up that way for you. Yeah, it's all. I mean, the new radio. Everybody's saying that radio was gone. Radio's transmissions are changing. It's going to go online, more and more online. And I've sent you those numbers. Your all's numbers on Sundays, just on our app alone, are huge. And you're outpacing what a normal Sunday afternoon would be. You have fans that are tuning in that show. People are just enjoying your stories. They really are. And then it made me dig out some information. I was telling Bob on Diane Renee. Paul, you like some of the music we pulled, and I will pat myself on the back. I look to find music that doesn't get played all the time. We played Blue Navy the other day. Sue, did you ever sing that one? Well, I'll give you one. You can yearn for your boyfriend in the Navy and act like you're 17. So that's what she was 17 years old when she did that. That's it. So, but I've had a real joy out of it, and even my wife made the comment, "You guys have rejuvenated me." But the whole goal, I want to do whatever I can to get the story of the '60s out. One of the things that we came up with, and Bob and you and I kind of came up with this, people don't like the word old at our age. So we just called it the rock and roll generation. And that comes directly from your Happy Together tour, because that's what we are. We are the rock and roll generation.
Most definitely. Authentically. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will say this, we changed the format on the radio station, and don't sell yourself short on this because you were the inspiration. And I mean that. When the radio went on, we put it on the day after Christmas. Let me back up. The station had no audience, so we put Christmas music on in October. We had nothing to lose. So the day after Christmas, we put the 60s and 70s on, and from December through July, the audience increased 300%. And I mean, it's 50 plus, and that's okay. Because again, that's where the money is. Always has been. And the average age in our market is 47 years old. And we are the home of Marshall. And by the way, if you can get into, I've done Marshall basketball public address for 32 years. That's a fun part. That keeps me as young as I can be. But
wow.
Yeah, but if you take the college kids out of it, we're very easily 50 plus, very much so. So there you go.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Mike. I mean, gosh, you sound like a busy guy, but what do you and Rita do to break away from this stuff and to just go, do you go to a lake or something?
Golfers, rock climbers.
Oh, yeah. No, I I have to be careful. I had a very sarcastic answer to that, but if I put it in writing, we'll all get thrown or
Then
on
don't.
your podcast. No, I'm not going to do that. No, we have a boat. You know what, Paul? Honestly, our escape is music. That's what. In fact, we've gone to London, and we when we went to London, Rita wanted to go see the Palace. I went, oh, well, okay, we can do that. But we did a walking Beatles tour. There was a guy that had done a video, and I thought, well, I wonder
Okay.
if that guy does a private tour. I emailed him. I found a video. We went to a Michael Bublé concert. It was Rita's birthday. It happened to pour the rain. We ducked into a bookstore to get out of the rain, and there was a Beatles in London. Beatles, and I bought it. The guy was in Beatles in London. I thought, I wonder if he does private tour. So I emailed him. He said, I do. I do groups of 8. I said, I want all 8 spots. So he took Rita and I on a walking tour. Then we get to Liverpool, and I think you guys will understand this. I got out, we took the train from London to Liverpool, got out, went to the hotel. I saw the Cavern Club, and my knees literally buckled. I made a joke of,
Okay.
yeah.
That's great.
We go to the desk to check in, and she could see I was emotional about it. And Rita looked at me, patted me on the shoulder, and says, "Mike, you're going to be here for a week. You're going to be okay." But
Jeez.
That's a
the
big place, yeah, historically.
Well, the sidebar that was funny, a girl that worked at the radio stations had just come back from Israel. And I said, hey, I went to my promised land. I went to Liverpool.
Okay,
Awesome.
so Mike, you mentioned Marshall. You were there, and anyone that doesn't remember, I think it maybe had been 72. I don't know the year when the whole Marshall football team, their airplane crashed. Everybody passed away. And we all know the movie with Matthew McConaughey. He was amazing in that movie. But could you give any insight as to at the moment, were you there with Marshall? Had you worked there at the time?
I did play for the team, Bob. Uh,
You did play by play.
it,
Okay.
yeah. But when all that happened, again, I was 18 and 19 years old, or 18 years old. Um, and I could have been on the flight. I worked in a grocery store, and so I stayed behind. My mom and dad's phone ran off the hook when it happened. And the other irony of all of this was I was dating at the time a girl that lived very close to the airport. And on the way down, the speed limit then was 70 miles an hour. A police car went flying by me. And I had a press pass. So when I went to pick her up, I said, we need to go to the airport. At the time, I didn't know it was a Marshall flight because I could string it for the radio station. So I drove, and on the way over, they announced that it was the Marshall flight. I had the press pass, went to the airport, and they called all the people waiting for the Marshall flight into a separate room. I was in there when two girls I went to high school with, their parents were on that flight. I was in the room when they told all of them what had happened. And I will, these are things you never forget. When they made the movie, I'll be honest, I did get into counseling over it because it was tough for a younger person. And then years later, the counselor even told me, he said, you had no college life at all. Between that and Students for a Democratic Society and Vietnam War, is like, oh boy, those are great times. But
Yeah, well,
when
the
they made
best.
yeah, when we made the movie, when they made the movie, I'm actually in it. Very briefly. Well, I make a joke. I said if you hit the pause control on your VCR or on your CD or DVD, I'm in it 30 minutes. You just got to hit pause. But I'm actually in the scene where they the player comes in and asks them to keep the football program. The most realistic, and I was at the crash site the night that all this happened because after I went to the room, I drove around to where the plane actually came down. Why, I do not know, but I did. The most realistic scene in that movie is the crash scene. It was very realistic the way they did it.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, it's quite a story. And Huntington, it's been 52 years ago now, but it for
But it
young
was
people.
famous. It was a famous crash because I was 22. Man, that really, you're on this, it
Yeah,
was
it would
so
be the first time something
such
like
a
that happened
huge
that
thing.
I
And
remember.
then the movie came out and it was, oh, that movie was so good. And
Yeah,
just the story, and you were right there, man. That's amazing. That's
I got to tell
amazing.
you a funny story about Matthew McConaughey. I mean, he liked to have the little tin cans with beer in them. And I emceed the night, the opening night. It was the premiere was in Huntington, he was on the second row, and you could hear the cans rolling to the front underneath the seats when he would put them down. But
he was nervous.
yeah, well, the other part of the story was he was on the sidelines of one of the football games. I said, Matthew, did you ever play? Did you ever do any sports? He said, I played golf. I went, oh, well, I guess I'd call that a sport. And there's somebody snapped a picture of him laughing and me laughing, and that's just behind my desk with your pictures, by the way. You're there
Cool.
too.
Cool. Did you ever play sports in high school?
You know what's funny, Paul? I've always been a supporting cast. I was a manager on the basketball and football teams. I was never an athlete. I was never a musician. I like to say in your all's career, there's two sides of the light. There's your side of the light, the performer, and then my side of the light as the audience. And it takes both to put on a show. And the same
Oh
thing with
man.
yeah, and the same thing with sports. I really learned so much, and I managed Little League baseball. I was a pretty good coach because I
Yeah,
learned and
cool.
more. I learned more from Little League kids on how to motivate people because they didn't lie to you. A little boy doesn't learn to lie till he's about 12 years old, and
Yeah.
testosterone starts kicking in. But you know if you've got those kids or not. And a little sidebar on that, and talk about tragedies. One of the little boys I had was actually one of the people that died on 9/11. He was going to be probably the uh, Surgeon General for the United States, another Marshall student. There's been a lot of people come out of Huntington that have done very, very well. So, and I'm looking forward to you guys seeing what our area's like as you come through as well.
Well, we need to tell everybody that just hop on a plane like we're going to do
Yeah.
on September 20th and head to Barbersville. You can meet Mike and hang out with us. And and we're going to give a concert, and we're just very excited about the whole connection. It was very cool.
Is it like a street festival, Mike?
Paul, it's a street festival. It does very well. There's been a lot of people that have asked about this. I think you're going to have a huge crowd. I really do. Have you all ever played West Virginia before that you recall?
Oh, sure. In our history, we have.
Yeah.
Now, Wheeling comes to mind.
You did play Wheeling recently. That's true. Yep, you sure did.
Wheeling.
You played the Wheeling Theater. You sure did. So
it was that outside rainy one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, Mike, thank you so much,
Mike,
for visiting us and for all you've done.
Yeah.
Radio show, people. We're going to syndicate this. We're not done.
No.
And actually, I thought Mike's first idea was great. Just little 5-minute things every week here, all the terrestrial stations all over the country. But the whole show is good. Yeah, it's good. And of course, Sirius XM. We're going to talk to Lou.
Yeah.
So there's pathway.
Before we go, I want to thank you guys for trusting me because, again, I know in the entertainment world, the number of times that you can get used or people take advantage of you. I never, ever want to do that to anybody, especially you guys. I feel like we've developed a friendship. I think the world of all of you. I really and truthfully do.
Mike.
Well, and I feel like I owe you. You've given me more pleasure in my life than you have any idea on those little flat records. I know they're CDs now, but I still got your albums and things like that. But you're an incredible story, and you're just incredible people. And you be proud of yourselves.
We feel we owe you now too, and that we got.
Yeah, I like owing Mike. Oh, Mike, you're a good guy to owe.
All right, everybody.
You don't owe me anything. Hey, thank you, guys.
97.9 The River, the Cowsills Chronicles. All right,
and Mike Kirtner running the show
with your host, Mike Kirtner. We love that. All right, everybody.
Thank you guys so much.